Hi, stamping friends. It's Angie here with your live class for the week. This is a very special live class with the awesome Boho Indigo Product Medley. We're a little bit late and I have different orientation here. Usually you're on my face, but I was having some technical difficulties. And so since we're a little bit late, I just thought I would start looking right at our products and get right to it. So again, this is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I would love to be your demonstrator if you do not already have one. Today we're going to be featuring the Boho Indigo Product Medley, one of my favorite things from the new catalog. The annual catalog is packed with awesome products. It has some fabulous kits. We showed the Gorgeous Posies kit last week, and this one is a kind of a special one because rather than giving you everything ready to go and pre-prepped and just ready to assemble, this kit is a product medley, and it has all of the parts and pieces that you need to get creative, but you do all of the creativity. So I know that's a little bit intimidating, so I wanted to put together some ideas for you today. And so that's what I've done. And I have two special class offers that I wanted to offer this week. So I'm going to be showing 6 different cards, and I have 6 additional cards that I'll show. I'll be demonstrating 6 cards and just showing 6 cards. And then there's 2 different class offerings. So the first one is a 12-card tutorial PDF that you can receive with a $35 order. So you just need to use the host code that you see here at toocoolstamping.com. Click on the Shop Now link, and you'll receive that 12-card tutorial. You'll see 6 of those cards in action today. And then if you want the whole kit, including all of the parts and pieces for those 12 cards, then just simply order the Boho Indigo Product Medley, and you'll get everything that you need to make the cards that I'm showing you today. So we'll talk more about that, but let's first get to the product medley and let's see what's in it, because it is packed with awesome product. And it all starts with this beautiful Boho Indigo stamp set, some really cool little vases, pots, whatever you want to call them, and some foliage, some flowers, and some really nice sentiments that go along with that. The die set that goes with it makes it very versatile, because you can cut out a lot of these special vases, but there's also some additional little ceramic pots that you can make, some additional foliage that you can cut out, and it even cuts the little flowers that come in here as well. So it makes it really easy to mix and match and have lots of different parts and pieces that you can put together as a little collage. Now, my favorite part of this product medley is the amazing paper. You get a pack of 6x6 designer series paper, double-sided. You get 4 each of the different designs, and there's 12 different designs. So let's go through all of these. There's actually 6 designs, but they're double-sided, so you get 12 patterns. So the first one, these beautiful flowers, I love that. And then the back side, everything is kind of a light version and then a darker version. So you get 4 each of these. So 4 of this pattern, and then you can use the opposite side as well. 48 sheets total. Does that make sense? So here are all the different patterns that you can choose from. So many different ones. I just absolutely adore this blue, and it's kind of a night of navy, kind of a misty moonlight, just a lot of different shades of blue. So I love that pattern paper. So you get that with it. Then you also get 2 each of these 3 6x6 embossed sheets. So let me see if the light will pick that up. So you can see the kind of the circly pattern there. There's kind of a floral dotted pattern on this one. And then this one has some diamond shapes. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. So you get 2 each of these 6x6 embossed sheets. So that gives you a lot of versatility as well. Can you imagine just using some of the dies on that and making just a pretty little pot with a texture? All right, you also get these cute little paper flowers. They're like, trying to think what they're like. They're almost like a bounce fabric softener sheet. And then they're shaped as a little, hopefully, I see we're having some connection issues. I hope we don't have that continue, but bear with me. Hopefully the recording will pick it all up. All right, and then we have another ribbon that comes along with it. You get 5 yards. Let me make sure that's right. Do-do-do. It says 10 yards. Hold on, let me read this better. Yeah, you get 10 yards each. They're full spools of ribbon. Sorry, I kept thinking it was a 5-yard roll or spool, but it's not. It's 10 yards, so lots and lots of ribbon. But this one is really pretty because it's kind of a gold shimmery. It almost looks like a metallic mesh, and it's ruched, which means it's kind of gathered up and puckered up. So really, really pretty. You'll really enjoy that. And then the final piece is, and I popped them out already, but you get several sheets of little die cuts here. So these are a bunch of different gold, they're all gold accented, and they're just all kinds of little label shapes that go with the sentiment. So they're the perfect size for the different sentiments, all kinds of shapes. I've used some, so this is whatever I have left over. So that's awesome. And as if that isn't enough, you also get these little pre-printed leaves, and they're just beautiful. They also have kind of a shimmery gold. Can you see the foil accents? They all have that same kind of an accent, and lots of different shapes. So you can have lots of different leaves coming out of your ceramic vases, and also a couple of flowers too. So you get a few large flowers that are gold, a few smaller flowers that are gold, and again, I've used some. So these are just the leftovers after the class, and also after the class, and I also made a couple of extra ones too. But yeah, lots and lots of pieces left over. So you get all of these things, and sorry, I have my little note that fell off my camera. You get all of these pieces in the product medley, and it is $70. Sorry, I'm going to fix this camera. It keeps like I said, I've just been having all kinds of technical difficulties here, so bear with me. My camera is sliding down, so we don't want that to happen. All right, we'll see if that works better. Okay. Kind of a rocky start to this, but we'll get through it. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, so Boho Indigo Product Medley, $70. You get all of these pieces. You get the stamp set, the matching dies, you get the 48 sheets of designer series paper, you get 6 sheets of the embossed, very vanilla cardstock, you get all the little die cuts, you get full spools of the 2 kinds of ribbon, and the little paper flowers that go with it as well. Tons and tons and tons of stuff, and just an amazing amount of stuff for your creativity. And I'm going to give you, like I said, I'm going to give you 12 different ideas to start with. That's just to jump start your creativity, and you'll have so much left over. You're going to have tons of paper left over. You're going to have tons of the little flowers left over. A lot of ribbon. I barely even used the ribbon for the cards that I made, and just so many fun ideas. Now, when I first looked at this set, I actually thought, okay, how much can you really do with just some vases or pots or whatever you want to call them? How much can you do with that? It's kind of, once you do a couple, then you've done a couple. Oh my gosh, was I ever wrong? There are so many ways that you can layer. You can die cut designer series paper. You can die cut stamped images. You can, there's just so many things. So let's just get started. You'll see what I mean. There's lots and lots of different ways to use it. And the other thing I love, love, love about this stamp set, and that I really noticed while I was designing, was that when you're looking for just just a versatile stamp set for thinking of you cards. I send a lot of cards that are just, hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing okay. You know, this has sorry you're feeling blue, that goes with the blue indigo theme. Just a thank you card. But all of these images are really just kind of serene. You could use them for sympathy. You could use them for a birthday. They're just very versatile images. So that's one thing I really felt I was finding when I was designing these cards as well. All right, let's get going. So the first card, like I said, we're going to do 6 cards. I'm going to show you how to make 6 cards. And you'll be able to get all the instructions for those when you place a $35 order. You'll get the tutorial for all 12 of the cards I'm going to show, including the 6 ones that I'll actually demonstrate. And then again, if you want the complete card kit with all the parts and pieces, I'm even going to include envelopes with these. Then just place the $70 order, and shipping is included with that as well. So it is a fantastic deal. All right, let's get started on our first card. This is soft suede, just a traditional card base. And then we're gonna have a Night of Navy layer here. That's 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to add some designer series paper along the side here. And I just love that I can design with a lot of the paper. When there's beautiful coordinating patterns like this, there's so many different ways you can use it, and you don't even have to do a lot of layering. You can just add a sentiment and it's pretty. So here's one side, and then I'm actually going to use the exact opposite side for another little layer here. And let me put just a little bit down here. And this one is 1.5 by 5. Let me get some measurements for you here. 2.5 by 5, sorry, 1 1/4 by 5. I'll get it right. And then before we put this on the background, I want to add some of that really pretty ribbon as an element. So this is kind of thicker ribbon. It's not as good for tying on your projects because obviously it'll be kind of bumpy to send in the mail. It's beautiful for 3D projects, and it's beautiful for creating an element on your, you could kind of fold it behind a focal point or just add it with some seal. So are you loving this product medley as much as me? I have to tell you that when I had my team event this month, we were talking about kits, and I asked them to share with me what their favorite kit was from the annual catalog. And Boho Indigo Product Medley was super, super popular. It might have been the top. Just really, everyone really, really loved the color combination there. So I've already have Stitch Shapes die cut from Very Vanilla. This is a Very Vanilla. We don't have a lot of papers that have Very Vanilla in it. A lot of times you'll have Whisper White, but this one has Very Vanilla, and I love that look with the blue. So we have that, and then we're gonna stamp some of these faces. So I'm gonna use my piercing mat because I like that with my photopolymer. It gives it a little bit of cushion and allows me to have a nice clean image. So I'm going to stamp 2 pots. The first one is going to be in, oops, Misty Moonlight. Pardon me. And we'll stamp that. And then we'll also stamp the smaller one in soft suede to match that background. Now a lot of these things, a lot of these images are going to need to be die cut, which is why you need the entire product medley. So when you purchase that, you'll have all the die cuts ready to go. I'm not going to be doing die cutting for you. I'm just going to give you the pieces of cardstock that you can do that on your own, since you will be purchasing everything. So I've already cut those out with the coordinating dies to make it a little faster here. And I'm going to add that to my background here. Just going to tack this one down a little bit. And before I put this down, I want to stamp a sentiment. So I have a piece here that is 2.5 by 3/4. And for this one, I'm going to stamp it in Night of Navy. Kind of picks up that Night of Navy matte and also the ribbon. And this one says, "Sorry you're feeling blue." So I'm going to position this so that my circle is there. I'm going to put this kind of right. Let me put just a little bit of seal on there. So I'm going to kind of do this. So I want this to be flush, and I want this to overlap, and then we're going to add this one with a couple dimensionals. And I'll just tuck that right there. And then I'll also add one of those little paper flowers. I'm just going to stick that right on a glue dot, and then put that on this one. And then we need to tack that down with some additional dimensionals. Now the other thing, when I'm tacking this down, I don't want to put any dimensionals where that ribbon is, because that's going to kind of pop it up and make it a little bit bumpy there, so we don't want that. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals kind of around. And you see how I just flipped that element over, so I knew exactly where that ribbon was going to go. And then we'll add this. Okay, so there's, whoops. You know what I didn't do is I didn't take the backing. I'm like, why isn't that sticking? It's kind of a critical and crucial step to dimensionals, is taking that backing paper off. Okay, now we're ready to go. I'm like, why? Why isn't that sticking? They're defective. Now we're done. All right, so there's our first card from our class. I love that. It just layers so beautifully. All right, let's go to the next one. Pardon me for a minute, I just have to blow my nose. It's just crazy. All right. This might be the best live video ever as far as things happening. All right, so this piece I'm starting out with not the traditional. It's going to be a 5.5 by 5.25, and then I've cut in 1 inch. And that is going to be my card front. So, and this is Night of Navy. And we're going to use that beautiful paper as our card front. So this is a 4 by 5.5 piece. I love, love, love this pattern so much. So the way we're going to attach that is we're going to have 1 strip of seal along the outer edge of this flap. And then this is only 4 across, so we can't just, I didn't want to get close to that, the fold. I didn't want that to get kind of overlapped there. So I'm going to add in just 1 strip of seal along the right side of your paper. And then to make this work, we're going to add, just lay this down flush to the outer edge so it's all nice and even, and then we'll just close this layer. And then that creates our card front. And the nice thing about it is you have a pretty inside as well. So I love that. It's kind of a fun little non-traditional way to create a card. So I've added a 4.25 by 1.5 piece of Seaside spray. And we're just gonna put that right across the edge here. If you've been following my classes, you'll know that I've made these kinds of cards before. They're so, so pretty. When there's a beautiful designer series paper, I love to feature them that way. All right, next we are going to, I already used my dies to die cut a couple of these leaves. So I just used, there's some pretty dies here, and I used those with gold foil. So these are ready to go. So that's gonna be a pretty element. And it will kind of coordinate with this pre-printed label that I have from the kit. And I'm gonna use Night of Navy. No, I think I'm gonna use Misty Moonlight. I like that lighter color with one of the other sentiments. A bunch of birthday love to you. So this will go here. And then I want to give some accents. Let's go ahead and assemble this a little bit. So I probably would want to use some green glue. That would probably be the best choice for this, but just for quickness, I'm gonna just put a dab of the seal on there. But to have it really lay down nicely and adhere nicely, you'd want to use that green cap glue. I call it green cap glue. It's the Tombow multi-purpose glue. All right, and then we're gonna put this over the top with some dimensionals. I'm remembering to take the backing off this time. We'll add that right over the top of our leaves. And then one more little piece here that I want to try, and I'm going to stamp this cute little flower image from the stamp set in the Misty Moonlight, just a couple of times on scrap paper. There is a little tiny die cut that goes with that, so I've already punched those out. And I'm gonna just add those with some glue dots. Sorry, my dogs are going wacko. I don't know what's happening, but something really exciting is happening. So I'm just going to add those to the top here. And I'm also going to add just a little, this is the Holiday Jewels, and I'm gonna add one of these Night of Navy jewels. There's one that's about ready to get away, and I'm gonna catch it and just add it down here. Just another little sparkly Night of Navy addition there. So there is my second card from the kit. What do you guys think about it? I love the gold accents with the Night of Navy and the Misty Moonlight. Just really, really pretty. Okay, next, we're gonna spice it up with some different color. So we're gonna start with some So Saffron. And we'll do a little bit of stamping with that. So I'm gonna use some of the Foliage and my So Saffron ink. And let's put that on my piercing mat. And I'm just gonna add a little bit up here and then also up here. And you'll see what this is gonna do in a minute. Just kind of a background layer. And before I forget about it, I'm gonna use my Simply Chamois just to clean that up because I'm gonna use that for another card. Make sure it's good. Yep. I love the Simply Chamois. It's so fast for cleanup. All right, next we're going to take one of those embossed sheets. So this is kind of the dotted, it's also in kind of a floral shape. And I've cut it down to 2.5 by 4 1/4. We're gonna layer that onto a piece of Bumblebee cardstock. and this one is 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. So we'll put that on our card. Do you see how I see what I did there? Da, da, da. So cute. Just created a little element, a little stamped element that's peeking out from behind my focal point. All right, so we'll add this. And now we're ready to build a little collage on here. So I started out by die cutting a little vase from one of the designer series papers. So that will be, we'll just start building this. That will be the background, in the background. So I'm gonna put that about right here. Then I've also die cut another little piece of Misty Moonlight in one of the other shapes of vases. And then I also did one in the gold foil. This is so cute. It has some little accents on the bottom, and you can actually pop those little ovals out. And but I wanted to keep those in. They all stayed in, and I thought it'd be better that way. I wouldn't have anything showing through. So I'm gonna make sure not to put any adhesive on there because the adhesive will probably make it come right out. But I'm gonna put that right there at the bottom. Then let's build some foliage at the top. So I'm gonna use some of those pre-printed pieces. And I'm gonna have those coming out of the top here. And I think what I'm gonna do is, I don't want those to show up. I don't want the stems to be seen. I'm not sure exactly how far down they're gonna need to go, but we're gonna have this one coming out this way. And then this one. And there's all different kinds of leaves, like I showed you. So you can mix and match and have a lot of fun with it. So again, I think I need to trim this up a little bit. We're gonna hide it behind some flowers, but I don't want it to get too crazy. All right, so there's some foliage. Then we're going to stamp some leaves with that. And I wanted to show you a little trick because I don't know about you, but it's been super hot and humid here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And it's caused some of my ink pads to become too wet, like they're too juicy and bubbly. I don't know if that makes sense. But one of the things that you can do, you'll see when I stamped, first I stamped with this, and you can see that the image is not really crisp and clear. There's a lot of bleeding happening, and the white spots in the, I'm sorry, I'm so super distracted because my dogs are barking. I apologize. So there's a lot of bleeding going on because it's just a little bit too wet for the stamp. And I wanted to show you how you can fix that. So if you are having that problem and you're not getting a crisp, clear image, you're getting a lot of bleeding into the white part, I actually have one of my bone folders that I've dedicated to doing this technique because I have to do it quite often because I'm in a basement and it does get kind of humid down here. So you'll see that it's all stained and it's from doing this. But what you can do is just use this to move the ink out of the way. You see how it's getting lighter in the middle? You can just like when you're putting a refill ink to, you know, to refill your ink pad and you want to spread it around kind of like you're spreading, you know, a frosting or something. You're doing the same thing, only you're moving the ink out of the way. So you're having a part of it that's not quite as wet. And so when you do that, then you can see the difference. See the difference in those two? And how this one is a lot of bleeding. This one you can actually see the detail in the white. So that's a good tip. And then when you're done, I just wipe it off, you know, get any excess ink off. It's gonna stain it, so that's why I use kind of a dedicated one for that. But I always have that available. It helps me when I want to re-ink my ink pads as well as when I need to kind of move the ink out of the way. All right, so for this one, we don't have a die cut for this one, or do we? Yes, we do have a die cut for this one. I just didn't pre-stamp it. So instead of die cutting, I could just run over there and do it. But instead, I'm just gonna quickly do a little hand cutting. I completely forgot there was a die cut. I had so many different ones that I kept splitting apart and trying different things, and I just kind of forgot. This is kind of like you could have a drinking game with this particular video because I have so many errors. You could, like, every time I mess up, you could take a drink and you'd be completely drunk by the end of this one anyway. So many different things happening today. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to use some dimensionals. And I'm just going to put one behind there. And we'll pop that in right there. Let's do a little sentiment. So I'm going to use one of my pre-printed foil labels. And my whoops. There's another. Time to drink. Seriously, this day, you guys. Do you ever have this happen? All right, here's the thank you. And this is just going to get popped up over to the side here. With a couple of dimensionals. And we'll add that right here. There you go. There is that card. I love that really bright and cheery. And you could really use any of the sentiments on there. I like this one because it's a little bit smaller. All right, let's go on to the next one. This one is once again going to start with a Night of Navy. Only this time it's just a quarter sheet. So it's just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's going to be our card base. And then we're going to create a little opening for our card in a smaller version. So this is 7 1/2 by 5. And we've just scored it at 3 3/4. It is the vanilla cardstock. You could use the thick cardstock. I just use the regular. I think it'll work just fine for that. So that is ready to go. Then we're going to add a little background. So this is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And we'll add that with some snail. Seal. That's a drink. Okay. We'll put that on the front. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right. And then we're just going to add that whole piece to our card base. So kind of a different opening, a little fun. And don't forget, I'm not doing any stamping on the inside, but this is the perfect kind of stamp set that you could definitely stamp some of those vases and foliage on the inside as well. All right, so for this one, we're going to make a little tag to put across here. And this is a card that I was inspired to create it from Terry Gaines. She has kind of a similar card that she did. I just used a few different elements, but I used some of the embossed diamonds, and this piece is 2 because it's going to fit into this little tag topper punch, so you don't want it to be more than 2 inches, and then the length is 4 1/4. So I'm going to stick that into my tag topper punch and have this really pretty tag. And then of course we need to put some ribbon in there, so I'm going to put some of that Night of Navy ribbon. And I wanted to tie that, and I was going to use linen thread, and then I thought, ooh, I know the Forever Greenery, I believe that's the one, has some of that gold cord or thread, so I decided to use that just because we have a lot of gold pieces in this particular medley. So I'm just going to tie that into a double knot, not fancy at all, just to get it tied. And then we'll just have a little pop of color up there, or a pop of shimmer from that gold. And then of course I want to use my scissors to angle those and make them cute. So this is ready to go for my tag. Now let's do a little bit of collage work on that tag. So I started out by die cutting some of the designer series paper, and I'll put that on there in a minute, but I want to show you where I'm going to put that. And then we're going to start building just with a few die cuts. So again, I'm using my dies from the bundle. This is in soft sea foam, and I'm going to cut that end off just because I don't need it to be that long. Here's another one in shaded spruce, and then a final one, little twig in the gold foil. You need that pop of gold just to really make it really come alive, I think. So I'm going to start, again, I would recommend the Tombow glue just for, it does take a teeny bit of time to dry, so I wanted to be quicker than that. So I'm going to just add see how these are going to go together. Adding just a little dab there with the seal. And then the last one, this one for sure, you would probably want to use that because it's hard to even get that seal on there. We'll put that right in the middle. And then we'll pop that little vase up with a couple of dimensionals. And put that right in the middle there. Let's go down just a smidgen. Ooh. Okay, so there's our tag, and then we'll add a little sentiment to the bottom. I have a little strip there of the soft sea foam, and I'll stamp that in the Misty Moonlight with the thank you. So again, I think this is about 3/8 of an inch wide, and I just cut a strip. That way I can make it as long as I want. And I'm gonna just square it off. You could do a little fishtail cut if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna square that off. Let's add this piece with some seal onto the card front. Woo, so sticky. My fingers all stuck to it. And then this little piece will go right next to it. And I'm just gonna use, if you just use the edge here of your dimensionals, I'm just gonna use one of them. And that will fit quite nicely right behind the sentiment. And then add just a little bit of adhesive on this side, since it's overlapping the vase. And we'll just add that right to the side. Thank you. So there's this card. Again, definitely would want to stamp something on the inside. Would be so, so pretty. You could use some of the leftover designer series papers to decorate the inside as well. So there's that card. All right. I have a couple more pieces. We're going to go a little long today. And this one starts with Calypso Coral. And I have a Calypso Coral background that I've already textured with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. I love that. That's such a beautiful, subtle texture. It goes with so many things. So I'll add that. Whoops, before I add it, I just about forgot a couple of really essential pieces. That's a drink, if you're not keeping track. So I have a piece here that's 4 by 2. I'm gonna add that to the front. We're gonna have to be kind of crafty here because we don't want to put this down on the ground since I already have adhesive on it. But this will go across. And then also I wanted to add this pretty piece of gingham. It's kind of, I think it's just jade gingham, and it comes in the For Every Flower ribbon pack. So I'll put that right across there. Shoo! I almost forgot to put the ribbon. Don't forget to put the ribbon on there. So that will go on our background. And then we will build our focal point. So we're going to start by adding some leaves in shaded spruce right at the top there. And then I've already stamped and die cut a little vase. We'll put that right there. And I've already stamped and cut out a few flowers here. If you look closely, you can see that I also stamped on my hand with that exact flower. So that, I'm just gonna put those on with some glue dots. And we're just gonna kind of add it to this greenery. We need a few pretty flowers there. All right, we'll add this onto our card front, and we'll use some dimensionals for that. And then we'll finish up with another sentiment and also some sparklies. We need to have some bling. So here is our focal point. And I have a little piece of mint macaron that I'm gonna stamp another one of the thank yous. I send lots of thank you cards out, so that's a good one to have. It's a good sentiment to have. And these, like I said, the images are so versatile. They're perfect for thank yous. So for this, I'm just fishtail cutting the ends. And I just go up the center and then corner to center, corner to center. I love that little trick. And then we'll add that down here, also with some dimensionals. Again, this is another little skinny piece, so I'm just gonna cut a couple of the dimensionals. You could use the mini dimensionals. Those would fit there too. But I like to use up the edges. Don't throw those away, you gotta use them. And then we'll put this down here at the bottom. And again, add some sparkly. So this time I'm gonna add some Misty Moonlight rhinestones. I'm gonna color them with my dark Misty Moonlight Stampin' Blends. And we're just gonna add a little sparkle to those flowers. Just a little pop of color and a little flash of sparkle. All right, there is our 5th card from the class. Let me know what you think. All right, the final card. This one also has kind of a non-traditional card base, so we'll start out with 5.5 by 7 1/4. We're gonna score at either 4 1/4, depends on which way you're looking at it, or 3. Fold that so we have kind of an offset card front, a front flap, if you will. We're going to use some of the pretty paper again. So this time we'll use this one. This one is a 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And that decorates the front of the front flap. And then I have an inside piece here, 4 by 5 1/4. We're gonna decorate the edge of that. That's gonna peek through with this little 5 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch piece. And then we'll add that to this inside. so now we have the two different pieces of designer series paper. All right, so let's create our focal point. We're gonna start with Night of Navy. So I think we started with Misty Moonlight, so this is a darker color. And this is 3 by 4 1/4. We'll add a piece of designer series paper at 2 3/4 by 4. I usually have trouble with the measurements, and I decided to bring my ruler over, and it makes it so much easier. So some things go right. Some things work. Okay, so this will go over the top, and it'll have kind of an overlapping, lots of different textures there of the paper, but I love that. So let's pop that up with some dimensionals before we finish it up. Again, did you see how I flipped it over 180? So I know not to put any dimensionals over on the part that's overlapping. And we'll add this for our little focal point background. And then we're gonna build a little collage on this one as well. So I love how that looks, really pretty. All right, so for this one, we're gonna go all white. We have a lot of patterns and a lot of blue on the background. So I have a bunch of die cuts that I did that are all, not white, but vanilla. So all these little pieces that are in vanilla. Before we do that, I wanna just add one little element. There's a little teeny tiny piece, little teeny tiny image that is just adorable. Isn't that cute? I love it. There's something about that little image that it's so beautiful to me. Okay, so this we're gonna go ahead and add to our bottom here. Actually, before we do that, I think I wanna add all of these pieces because I want that to go under. So let's start out. Again, I would recommend multi-purpose glue. It's gonna work the best. So this is gonna go like this. You wanna kind of use that for positioning. And these, you could cut the stems off if you wanted to, but they are gonna go under. So you don't really need to. Okay. This is the one that really would help to have Tombow glue. We're gonna put that right in the center, and then let's make this go just a little bit closer. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I love that. It's just kind of just a lovely monochromatic. I have a sentiment already stamped, Such Happy News, and it's using that pre-printed label again. So I'll add that with some dimensionals over the top. Remember, you don't want to go higher than 2 levels of dimensionals. Otherwise, it makes it really difficult to mail. But that's going to go right over the top there. And then I've also used that Forever Greenery gold thread again. I love how that looks. So I've tied a little bow. I'm going to put that right on a little glue dot. Pinch it together. Pinched glue dot is what I call that. You're tucking all of the sticky underneath that knot as much as you can, and then we're going to add that to the top there. Again, I'm just going to pinch that under there a little bit more, and then I just kind of tap it a few times to get the sticky off. All right, what do you think of that one? I think that's really cute. I got that that contrasting kind of a negative silhouette idea from Shannon West at Stampin' Up. So thank you, Shannon, for that cute idea. All right, so that is our 6 different ones that I wanted to share with you today. So we'll get those out, and you can see what they look like again. And then I'm going to show you 6 additional ones that I think you're really going to like too. All right, so that's, can't even get them all in the picture, but you'll get an idea. All right, so those are the cards that we just did. Now, like I mentioned, if you do a $35 order, I'm going to send you a free tutorial PDF. So no actual kit, but you'll get the tutorial that has all of these cards as well as the 6 additional cards I'm about to show you. And then if you want the complete 12 card class kit, then all you need to do is order that product medley. You'll have all of the items that you need to make the kit. You'll just add your own inks and adhesives. I will send you all the additional cardstock, any pre-die cut things that you don't have dies for, and envelopes, and you'll be able to make all of the cards as shown. Okay, here are the 6 additional cards. Now, a lot of these I was inspired, or I actually am using a few swap cards that I received because they're just so awesome and amazing. So let me show you these and we'll talk about them a little bit. This first one here is by Kayleen Murray, a swap card that I received from her, and I absolutely loved it. I couldn't improve upon it. I thought it was great. The color combination was awesome. So we have some Night of Navy in the background, a stitched rectangle as your kind of focal point base, some designer series paper in the background, and then she stamped the leaves, stamped some flowers, and stamped the different pots. This is a little die cut in the shaded spruce, one of the paper flowers, a little linen thread, and a cute sentiment. So that's going to be in your card kit as well as part of your tutorial. All right, this one is one that I loved. I can't remember. I know that I was inspired by someone. I can't remember who it was now. But anyway, very similar to that card. You'll see it on my blog. But this is Garden Green. It opens up vertically. And it just used some designer series paper in the background, stamped that Sorry You're Feeling Blue on vanilla, popped up a crumb cake vase here, a little paper flower, and then just the pre-cut die cuts that come with it, the pre-printed die cuts. That pretty ribbon, I put that all the way around. So that's another one. This one is from Jeanette Swain. She sent this swap card, and I felt like it was so awesome. I just wanted to include it. This one has the Dainty Diamonds designer series paper, or not designer series paper, embossing folder. And I used it on she used it on Night of Navy and then Misty Moonlight below. A little bit of that ribbon peeking out, another stitched rectangles and some stamping on there with a popped up flower. Just a couple of strips of that. So when you have your leftovers, this is a great way to just add some cute accents to a card and just use those leftovers. And then she used the gilded gems, another really cute gold accent that goes with this suite so well. All right, here's another one that I created this, but it was very much inspired by Connie Ingram's swap card that she gave me. I just did a couple of different things on it and used the sentiment from the product medley, but I copied all of this part from her because it was so gorgeous. I loved how she used all of these cute die cuts, the leaves, the different vases. This one's in the designer series paper. This one's in cinnamon cider, Misty Moonlight, some old olive, and then the bottom piece is from the Pick a Label punch, and it creates a cute little table there. So I loved how she did that. And then I added the sentiment. I did a little bit, I did a couple of things a little bit differently, but most of it's the same as her. So this little sparkles on here are the champagne rhinestones, and then I also added some Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see that, but these two and also the leaves up here have Wink of Stella, so just a little shimmer. So awesome card, Connie. I really appreciate that idea, and so cute. Okay, here's another one. This was one that was inspired by the card layout's basically one inspired by Jackie Bullheis, and I did some different colors with mine, but this one starts with a very vanilla thick card base, Misty Moonlight layering. I used the circles embossed vanilla. I don't know if you can even see that, but it's the circles one. And then a little strip of jade, just jade across the front. I used that cute little image to decorate all the way across, make a little border. One of the pre-printed labels that I stamped the sentiment on, I added a little bit of the ribbon, These are the pre-printed gold flowers and then the pre-printed leaves. So that one comes together really, really quickly. Just really fun to collage all those elements that they give you. And then the final one, another one inspired by a card from Shannon West. And this one is a great way to spotlight every single designer series paper from this product medley. So we have 1/2 inch strips, and I think they're about 3 inches. Yep, 3 inches long. And so you can do this card last, and you could do a ton of them, because all I did was take every single color, every single side, or not color, but every single pattern, every side. So there's 12 different pieces. Once I kind of laid them out into the pattern order that I wanted. So I kind of go light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. If you just do the backs and the fronts, that's the perfect way to do that. And then when you're actually adhering them to your mint macaron card base, the way I did it to make sure that I spread them out equally is to start in the center. So I started with the 2 in the center, and then I just kept building out. And that way you don't run out of room. If you start to one side, then it might get, you might have them all down and not, and still have a bunch of room left over, or you might run out of room. So you don't want to do that. So start in the center and just build your way out. And don't be afraid to overlap. As you can see, they're kind of dancing all over the place. They're up, they're down, they're overlapping. So lots of fun. It creates a lot of motion on the card, actually. And then I used that same ribbon, Such Happy News, with the die cut label, and then also the pre-printed foil flower and a leaf there. The leaves are nice because they actually match a lot of the different greens. They look nice with mint. They look nice with garden green, shaded spruce, even the soft sea foam. Lots of different green shades in there, so they'll match a lot of things. All right, everybody. So that's what we have here. There's no way I could get all the cards in our picture, but I will have them on my website. I'll have a picture, and you can see all of those. Again, let's go over the class options. Did I show all the cards? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yes. Okay. So the class options, don't forget, there's 2 different ones, 2 different levels of orders. If you place a $35 order using the host code, then you'll definitely, want to do that. Then you'll get the tutorial PDF. So no card kit this week, but you will get a tutorial of how to create all 12 of these cards step by step with a full color picture. You'll also have a supplies list, so you'll know exactly what is included to make the cards as shown. Then the second class offering is $70 order, which is the cost of the product medley. So if you just purchase the product medley, you'll have all your parts and pieces that you need, and I will send you a 12 card class kit that will have any additional pieces. Now, remember, this is not something that you won't have all the pieces that are included in the product medley. That's something that you have to purchase. So the card kit does not include the designer series paper. The card kit does not include the ribbon and any pieces that would be a part of the actual product medley. You need to have the product medley in order to complete the cards as shown. But if you purchase the product medley, you will get all of the pieces, the additional pieces that you need to create your class of 12 cards. Again, I'm not doing all of the die cutting. There's a lot of little die cut pieces. You will have the dies in your product medley, but I will give you all of the cardstock that you'll need. So you'll get, for example, in this particular card, you'll get a little piece of shaded spruce and soft sea foam and the gold foil, and then you can just run those dies through on your own. So, and you'll also get envelopes. I don't normally include envelopes in my class kit, but you will have envelopes, so you'll be ready to use these cards right away once you get them made. All right. One last little disclaimer. Don't forget to use that host code 47WJSDYM. If you happen to be placing an order for $150 or more, do not use the host code. At that level, you will be able to earn Stampin Rewards dollars, and I want you to be able to use those. And when you use a host code, you give up those Stampin Rewards. So Don't use the host code if you have a $150 order or more, and I just will know to automatically send you this entire kit. So don't worry, you'll get the kit, but I do want you to enjoy those Stampin' Rewards. Another thing I wanted to add, I completely forgot to mention it, but we're still in the middle of bonus days. So we have bonus coupons available. For every $50 that you spend, you get a $5 bonus coupon that you can use next month on any order. So might want to think about that. If you're going to have at least a $35 order, might want to bump that up to a $50 order just to get $5 back. Same with your, if you're going to buy the whole product medley for $70, might be worth having a $100 order so that you can get two $5 coupons. So think about that. It's a little bit of extra savings on your next order next month. All right, everybody, if you have any questions, you can certainly just ask me on this thread or underneath the video, and I will have a lot of these featured on my blog over the next week. Let me also say, I forgot to mention the timing of this class. Since it's kind of a special class, a little bit more than I normally do in a week, I'm going to have it available a little bit longer. So the actual class will be available until August 3rd. So that's about 12 days. So that'll be available through August 3rd. The PDFs will start to mail on July 28th. So you're not going to get them today. If you order today, you're not going to get it today, but you will get it July 28th. And then all of the kits are going to mail at the same time after the class closes, and that's going to be on August 8th. So that'll give me time to order any additional pieces that I need to prep for the classes, and we'll get those in the mail on August 8th. So I'll have all that information in the description of this video, so that I know it's a lot of information, but I wanted you guys to have something a little special because this Boho Indigo Product Medley is super special. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope that you decide to get the kits because I think you're really going to love it. And that's, like I said, it's just going to be a starting off point, a jumping off point for your creativity, because you'll have so many additional pieces left that you can use on your own card creations. So I just know you're going to love it. All right, everybody. I thank you so much for spending this extra time with me this week. I hope you've enjoyed this class, and I look forward to talking to you again next Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, this is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.